Good morning, artists. Happy Thursday. We're back to do some more coloring today. I was able to get a little bit of stuff started. Hope everybody's doing well on this Thursday now. So we did get some news about what the rest of the school year is going to look like, much to our relief. Now we have a plan ready to start moving forward. So for sure, streams are definitely going to be continuing, number one. Number two, there's going to be an assignment every week that you guys will be getting. It'll be posted up on Classroom, but the streaming time is also going to be for that assignment. So roughly probably Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday, we'll be working on the assignment together. So, for example, plan is right now Monday morning is I'm going to start teaching about how to do a landscape, drawing a landscape just in pencil. So the first couple of days of the week, I'll be working on a landscape drawing, kind of along with you guys, so it'll be a follow along. So you guys will be following along with what I am doing. I'll be talking through it as I work, giving tips and instructions, showing kind of stuff of what not to do, what to be careful of while you're working. And if we get depending on when we get the lesson finished by, then the rest of the week stream will be, more kind of fun stuff like this, and to give you some time to work on your landscape on your own. Because the nice thing will be with the video, you'll be able to pause it as you need to, or skip ahead even, depending on how far along you are and how you're doing with it. So that's the good news. We have a plan. And I've started working on some ideas for some lessons for you guys. Landscape is definitely going to be up there. I had a request for making sure that we still do the comic assignment that I had planned with the 8th grade, so we're going to be adjusting that for the different grade levels. We're going to do comic. We'll have plenty of adventures, at-home adventures that we'll be able to write about by then. Oh, look, everybody's showing up. Morning Thugs and Bobbin Works and Dell. Yeah, her shawl came out really nice. I'm pretty happy with that. I got some more work done in the basement yesterday, but then I immediately had to give myself an organizing project, which probably took up more time than it needed to, but it needed to be done. I have all these different containers full of beads, different beads, glass beads, wooden beads, plastic beads, every kind of color. I've reorganized them again and again into these jewelry box kind of containers. Clear plastic, little squared off, gridded sections, this section of bead in each one. And as great as that organization was, it was just not very convenient, because as soon as you want to find a certain color of bead, I want a red bead. Of course, it's in the container that's at the bottom of the pile. And the containers pretty much need to stay flat. You can't twist them, turn them, or anything. So putting them in carrying bins was, just not an option at all. But my sister decided to get rid of it had been functioning as a jewelry box, but really it was a tool supply. Like a set of little clear plastic drawers that you can pull out, and you have like your nails and screws and stuff in them. And I had originally been using it as my jewelry box, but then as my jewelry box game got upped, I actually got like a real nice jewelry box. I traded mine out. She didn't want it anymore. It became our new bead bin now. So I spent probably a couple hours yesterday very carefully moving beads from one container into another. But now they're all in one spot. It's much easier to pull out a little drawer with a couple of beads in it and get what I need. I had to use a teaspoon to scoop them out because just there's no way to like tip it over when there were so many of them. So it worked out though. What is underneath here? Stuff under my paper, making it bumpy. My mom will be so proud of me when she sees it. the organization level. Let's see. I don't want to use too much black, but I'm gonna snake just actually. Yeah, no, I do want to use the black. I thought for a second about getting a really dark blue, but I want to save that for some of the other details. Like the banding and the waist and on the outfits. So Thursday, of course, is garbage day, which can be a very exciting day in the doggy household. But the recycling bin already came through while they were still partially asleep after breakfast. So they missed that. Not that Wesker ever barks at it, but Wiley will. So we're just waiting now for the actual trash collector to come through. I'm sure if it happens during the stream, y'all will hear it. That's good. So we had a pretty serious occurrence happen just the other day. We ran out of chocolate. I mean, I don't know how we're going to survive now without it. So we did the drastic thing last night, and I baked cookies. So now we're probably even more trouble, because when there's just a bag of cookies sitting there, you're going to eat it. Yeah, cookies is the best alternative. They're not just cookies, though. They are cakeys. The fabulous cookies that you make with cake batter, like the box cakes. Just throw some eggs in, throw some vanilla, some butter, bake it up, bam, cookies. Cookies that taste like cake. We made a red velvet cakey, and then just a plain old vanilla white cakey. Because crazy enough, the last time we were at the store, so like, early on, first days of everything going down, you could not find eggs. You could not find bottles of water. You could not find bread. The bread aisle was just decimated so fast. But then the last time we went to the store, which was well over, gosh, it's going to be almost 2 weeks now since we last went to the store. We planned well. Bread was there. We had bread. There were eggs. But there were no boxes of cake mix. It was ridiculous. Like maybe there was still some funfetti there, but not too many people buy funfetti. But chocolate cake gone, brownie mix gone, most of the French vanilla cake gone. Spice cake, that's my favorite. That was gone. There was 2 boxes of the just white cake and a couple of the red velvet left. And it was crazy. I was just looking at the aisle, it wasn't a surprise when things like bread and eggs and toilet paper and that stuff was gone. It's well, yeah, those are things that, pretty much everybody needs. But who's buying all the cake mix? Heathens. Heathens, I tell you. Buying all the cake. Alright, now we're getting in there. Getting the darker shading. So when we did the shawl yesterday, I was using this kind of warmer toned light purple, and now I'm using this kind of almost like a bluish violet for this one. So I'm hoping that it will give a nice just kind of variation of color. So even though there's still it's still all shades of purple, it'll be just different enough to look nice. I like the purple for that royal feeling, because she is a queen, this one. Ooh, sharp point. So over the last couple of days, we started to notice a pair of blue jays hanging out in the front corner of our backyard, kind of near where the gate is to get from the front to the back. And we actually spotted them bringing in some twigs to this tall kind of evergreen tree that's it's technically in our neighbor's yard. So it looks like we're gonna have a family moving in, which is super exciting. Man, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but we did have a family of, we had a robin that built a nest on our basketball hoop that we never use. Right, like me playing basketball, that's ridiculous. In any case, we had a whole little family up there for a while. We were so sad on the days when it rained because we'd be like, pulling in, coming in from work, driving underneath them, and just seeing this poor mama sitting there getting all wet. There's no real overhanging shelter for it at all. So the core thing is just sitting up on this basketball hoop, exposed to the world. I mean, the good news being that there's no squirrel or anything that's going to try and climb that thing that could, get to them or do any kind of damage to the babies. So they're safe that way, but just totally open to the elements. But it's a nice sign of spring here. Birds building up all their nests. Might need a little bit of white after all. We'll see. Yeah, it's a little bit dark. Just a little, not too much. Today's tea flavor, we have cinnamon today. Went from being super nice yesterday, 70 degrees, to being 40 today. Our weatherman even said the bad word, snow. So we might get a few snowflakes mingled in. I'm like, watch your mouth, sir. Don't need that kind of language. I know one of my co-teachers who retired last year is up north with her family. She said that they're possibly going to get a blanket of snow. And I'm like, well, it's probably smart that you moved, that you fled up north when all of this went down. But at the same time, snow? With a shovel or something? No, thank you. Although, I guess on the other hand, it's not really necessary it would be necessary to shovel right now. It's like, not trying to get the car out of the driveway. Just get a path out to the mailbox, and that's about it. Actually, I just put our plow away for the year. Or not our plow, but our snowblower. This violet here too has a little bit of a bluish tone as well. So it's working out pretty nice, I think, for these two, for this combination. This has actually been a lot more color pencil work than I've done in a while. My hand isn't used to it. I'm feeling the workout in my wrist. Oh, thank you, Del. I appreciate that. I feel a little out of practice, but it seems to be going all right. Last time I did anything color pencil was my little Greek Petya pieces. And those are very small, so it feels like a lot. It's a lot of smaller area to work with. So you don't really get to play with the shading as much because all the spaces are much, much smaller. I still have a set of those I haven't finished yet. Maybe time to do that. Maybe time to do that once we get all these guys done. It's got to be mindful of this darker purple is getting towards the end. There's only a little bit left. I probably have another one down in the basement somewhere. But it's been so long since I've, really used them that it's hard to know exactly what I have in my inventory anymore. Used to make visits all the time to the Joann or the Michaels, especially when I was still away in college up at Michigan State, and I was doing a lot of color pencil and Prisma stuff. I feel like every other week I was in the store finding their section of individual pencils, picking out just the ones I needed, always having to pick up some skin tones and white and black since they were used the most. Paper towel's a little bit safer than the giant brush right now. Don't want to bang into the camera. So the other day was the due date for our local theater. Canton Village Theater they do like theater shows, obviously, but they also have a art gallery attached to the theater. And every year in the spring, they invite local artists to submit some work to possibly be part of the next year's exhibition. What they'll do is every month they will put up a new artist's work. So it can be like between 20 and 40 pieces that the artist can submit and have on display in the gallery of the theater. And I'd found out about it a couple of years ago, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna try. And I didn't realize that it was like an entire exhibition. So the first year I did it, I had like 3 pieces. And I was like, yeah, here you go. And they're like, you do realize that we're looking for people who can fill the gallery. So you're going to need 5 times as many. I was like, oh no. So I worked on it for the next year and even 2 years and just couldn't get enough pieces together, couldn't get it turned in on time. It was just like one thing after another. I tried submitting some work for a smaller show, like a competition, didn't get in that. But this last week I was like, you know what, I finally had finished, a couple of bigger pieces. It's like, I wonder when they're, like, I know they're doing it again. I'm assuming they're doing it again, even though we're all under lockdown. They're going to still need to have their stuff planning out for next year. And I looked it up and it was like, the due date's in 2 days. And I was like, me cutting it close again. But I went and I took some fresh pictures of the things I had done, which is probably those of you on Facebook have seen. I put them up on Facebook as well. And I emailed her and I sent in my form and I'm like, I hope this is okay to do digitally. I know normally we have to drop it off, but, being the situation that we're in. And she wrote back and she was like, oh yeah, we're still on lockdown. We're not sure when we're going to open. So we've got the process is kind of on pause at the moment. We're pushing back our date for revealing who's going to be involved. But you're in time. And she actually said that she remembered my work from previous years. She's like, I'm glad you're trying again. I'm like, I'm glad that you're glad. I wish that you were the one judging. I was flattered that she remembered my work and seemed glad to see it. So it was mostly the my carving stuff and my little zodiac guys. They didn't want all the pictures, they said. Just send us 10. So I had to pick out kind of the ones I felt best represented my series. One of them, it's one of my favorites, is of a kind of like a black wolf that I did in black foam core. So it's black on top and the styrofoam underneath is black. So when you carve away the top poster and reveal the styrofoam underneath, the styrofoam has that slightly shiny, plasticky look to it. So when the light hits it just right, you get this cool, black on black effect. It has a bit of a sparkle, but it does not photograph as well as it could. So it's hard to get a really good idea of it. And I can't help but still put it in there as, please take a look at it. But it's so hard to really see in a photograph. It's really something that should be viewed in person. So here's hoping. I'm not sure when they'll finally make the announcements. I think last year it took them till like June So it may be much later in the summer before I hear anything, but it'd be nice. I love being the art teacher, but it'd be also nice to be seen as an artist professionally. Give me some props then when I'm able to invite people to come and see it, like especially people at our building, and be able to tell the principal, guess what, I'm in an art show, and then that's something that they can say, like, oh yeah, our art teacher has a gallery show. Invite families. Let's give that a quick little shake out. Yeah. That's pretty nice and dramatic. All right. So now we're going to get into the extra little bands of stuff. Let's get the shirt. Okay. So we're going to get some of this purple, and we're going to get this indigo blue. But we'll start off with a lighter color first. Now, instead of using black as our shadow color, we're going to use this dark blue. So again, still wanting to have that purple coloring, but wanting it to be a little bit different than the rest of it. So we're going to use that blue. super, super tiny little spaces. Almost forgot. Actually, we'll sneak a little bit of black into it here though, because I want it to be a little bit darker than the shirt, and the shirt was already pretty dark. Just a touch, just a touch. Don't get carried away. That's good. I wanted to make sure, especially right here, that the colors stood out versus the skirt, and they do just enough. So the good news down here is, since this fringe is mostly just over the plain background, I won't have to recolor over it as much as I did for our Sun Lady. Just in the areas over when I have to do her skin. Gesundheit. So again, I'm creeping a tiny bit of black into those areas that are already pretty dark. All right. That's all the clothing elements. So that leaves us finally with the lady herself. So I'm getting out all of my kind of darker skin tones because she's gonna be a little bit darker toned than Sun Lady. Going against the grain here, guys. We're not gonna have any pale moon lady. So the other day I was cruising around this site called Tapas that has comics and stuff on it. A lot of free to read comics and things like that. And I was looking for something new because just needed something new to read. And I found this comic and ended up just binging the whole thing. I'd try to say the name, but the person who made it is French, and English is not their first language, so the title is a little bit all over the place. It's like the Chronoticus Express, which is a very cool little kind of fantasy sci-fi story of a kid trying to overthrow the current system of the afterlife, essentially. And it's got a very, how would I put it? Some of you won't remember this because you'll be too young for it, but back in the days of kind of post Final Fantasy VII, right around when the original Kingdom Hearts was coming out, everybody had this anime art style of overly baggy clothing and having lots and lots of buckles and straps and big coats, and half the people wore black, and just giant shoes, like almost like Mickey Mouse size sneakers. And it has a little bit of that style to it, so it's fun because it feels a little bit nostalgic in that. I think that the creator, though, has to be they're definitely younger than me, so they might have like kind of their younger gaming years spent with that style. I forget the name of the artist who did all of that, who made the Kingdom Hearts and everything, but his style became the thing. You can still see a lot of that influence in the later Final Fantasy games. They all have that kind of like teen look to them. The more buckles and straps, the better. So it definitely it's fun sometimes to see people who get influenced. Who's that visiting me? It's a little early, sir, but take a peek. Hi, Wesker. What are you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Hi, Wesker. I know. Yeah, whenever Wesker wants something, he will come over and he will sit down in front of you and he will just stare at you like he is trying to psychically convey to you what it is that he wants. And sometimes it's food, and sometimes it's, hey mom, it's time to go for a walk. But he's usually really good about having a schedule, I would say. So usually sometime between 1 and 3 o'clock, depending on the day, you won't have seen him for hours, and all of a sudden he shows up and he pops down in front of you and stares at you, and you say, "What is it?" And he'll go, "Awoo." And you're like, "Oh, okay, must be time to go for a walk." Or he'll sit and stare at you, and you'll ask him if he's hungry, and then he might lick his lips. Okay, you're hungry. I got you. Between 7 and 8 o'clock, he will start bugging, because that is dessert time. Both he and Wiley actually know, not that they can tell the time, but they understand, when we say, "Oh, it's 8 o'clock," that's time for them to get their treat. Even funnier, it only took Wesker maybe a day or two to figure out the time change. So when daylight savings happens, you'd think it would throw him off for a little while, but it does not. He is a smart cookie. And it's funny, we actually will say ask him, do you know what time it is? It's 8 o'clock, as a way of letting him know that it's time to have a treat, rather than saying, like, do you want a treat? So if Wiley is outside and we're trying to get him to come in, trying to bribe him with treats or snacks or anything like that, that usually does not work. He will sit there and ignore you. Even though we will say, we've said it before, we will ask him, you want a treat? And he, will respond to that, especially if he's inside. But if he's outside, no. If he's outside, you have to say, do you know what time it is? It's 8 o'clock. And then he comes running. Again, I went and did kind of an all over with a little lighter brown. Now we're going to go in and kind of darken in some of the shadow areas. This brown I'm using actually has a bit of a reddish tone to it, so it's giving her a really nice, warm skin color. Let's get a little bit of that. No, not you. You. I want to use a lot of peach, but we're going to have it just for a little bit of the highlight. Just in the areas we want a little bit of light to her. Just in the areas where the light would hit the most, so top of the cheeks, a little bit on the chin. There. is ridiculous how fast this time goes here, though. I always kind of underestimate it a little bit. It always feels like I'll have plenty of time to color her in. Of course I will. And all of a sudden I look up and I'm like, oh, no. We're running out of time again. Just kind of tells you how long it's been since I've been doing this work on my own with the colored pencils. No judge of time with them anymore. Just get a little bit of that peach in there first. Again, just a little peach. Just to get a bit of a highlight on this again. Alright, well this looks like it's definitely going to be a finished on Friday sort of deal. It'll be nice. I don't want to start anything too new just right at, since we're going to be getting into class stuff soon. But there she is for now. It's going to look really nice once I get her all done. Alright. It's 11. That means it is time to find the boys before we say our farewells for the morning. I have to finish up the basement today. Make sure I get my homework done. Oh, it's so much chillier. There's Wesker, hiding over in the trees. There's Wiley. He's talking to the neighbors, probably. Neighbor dogs. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your Thursday. We can still celebrate that tomorrow is Friday, I think. Guys, stay safe and see you tomorrow. Have a great day.